Okay, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started. First of all, thank you for joining us. This is our new monthly webinar series that we introduced at the beginning of this year. My name is Megan. I'm the marketing executive for Alluring Americas, and I also have Raj Sanrajka with us, the president of Alluring Americas, which most of you guys know, and he is going to be our presenter today. Today's presentation is really all about Alluring Americas. While most of you already have an extensive knowledge and experience with us, we're hoping this presentation will serve as a general refresher on everything that we can offer you and your clients. Just a couple of things real quick. During the presentation, if you guys can remain muted, that would be great to cut out any background noise. These speakers really pick up a lot. For those of you that raised your hand earlier, you guys can go ahead and put your hands down. And we're going to have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So if you guys have any questions, save them and we'll address everything at the end. And I'll go ahead and turn over the time to Raj. Let's get started.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Raj. Good morning if you're on the West Coast. And welcome to our presentation for Alluring Americas. As Megan mentioned, many of you already know who we are. And I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to sort of emphasize our specialty with luxury travel in Latin America and how we can best serve you. Alluring Americas is a company that was founded in 2007 and is based in Winter Park, Florida, which is just outside of Orlando. We have a second office in Buenos Aires, Argentina, which serves as our Latin America operations office that oversees all of the other offices. So between these two offices, we serve the US market, and our focus is primarily on custom designed luxury travel and luxury travel experiences throughout South and Central America. How we achieve this mostly is through our destination specialists. Although I own and operate the company, I am also considered one of the destination specialists, as is Rachel, Evelyn, and Esteban. The four of us have extensively traveled throughout Latin America. I joined in the industry in 1992, and my first foray was with another tour operator, Big Five Tours, and I was there since from 1992 until 2007, and I had the opportunity to develop the Latin America product for Big Five. I then leveraged my connections and my knowledge of the destinations and started Alluring Americas. So between myself, Rachel, Evelyn, and Esteban, as I mentioned, we have traveled quite extensively throughout South and Central America. We have visited the hotels that we offer. We have partnered strong relations with various ground operators, many of whom are still working with us since the day of our inception. We have trained the guides to our specifications in our destination, so they provide the travel services to our clients with a focus on the North American market. And we have also set standards with our operating partners as to how the trips need to be operated as far as the excursions go, as far as the transportation goes, and so forth. We do not purchase ready-made tours in South America for most of our programs. We actually craft the trips ourselves here in the US and in Argentina, and then we present them to you in our program. So you won't find any set itineraries on our website. Everything is custom designed for the client according to their interests. So whenever you're speaking to one of us, chances are you'll be speaking to one of the four destination specialists to put together your trip. So how are we different from other companies? Obviously, there are many companies out there and they do a fantastic job for Latin America. We just feel that we're a little bit different from others. As I mentioned, our destination specialists have traveled extensively throughout Latin America, and through relations, we have been able to put together the trips for our clients. We ensure that we are hands-on from start to finish. So what that means is when you are dealing with a destination specialist from the first phone call right through to the time the client returns back, that is your primary contact. That destination specialist is going to be checking in with your clients during the trip as well and providing you with feedback. That destination specialist is constantly connected to our operating partners to ensure everything is going well. And we don't have different departments here that's going to hand different aspects of your trip. It's all start to finish with one person. So that is a very crucial thing to take note of, that it's very hands-on, very in-depth, very detail-oriented from our destination specialists. We also take pride in crafting unique custom design itineraries. We try to stay away from the cookie cutter experiences that you can find on the internet or in tour brochures. We want to impart with our knowledge of the destination. So when we speak to you and to your clients, we already have an idea of what we think would be a pretty cool experience for the clients, for example, and we'll make those recommendations for an activity or an excursion. And often you'll find that activity excursion may not be something that you can easily find on the internet. So we try to make sure that our itineraries always stand apart from our competitors by having handcrafted experiences in there. We take pride in our response time. Often when an inquiry comes to us today, usually within one business day, we'll have an answer for you, sometimes two at the maximum. And if there is a delay, there is always a reason for a delay, and we'll let you know why we have a delay. But we do take great pride in getting back to you as fast as possible. We always find solutions to challenges. We don't consider anything too challenging for us. But when it is a complex itinerary, when it is challenging, we try to ensure that we go above and beyond, think outside of the box, and figure out ways to make it happen for your client. End of the day, this trip is for your client. We need to make this trip for your client so the client can come back to you and take great pride in knowing that you have partnered with a tour operator like us, for their travels. So our destinations in South and Central America are a total of 12. In Central America, it tells you right there where we go to, anywhere from Belize, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. And in South America, we have focus on Colombia, Ecuador with the Galapagos Islands, Peru, Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, and Brazil. Many of you might ask, how come we're not doing countries like Bolivia or Venezuela or, Honduras? Those are destinations we just don't feel that the operators can meet the standards of our requirements for ground operations and quality control. And we don't want to be a jack of all trades. We don't want to just offer a destination for the sake of offering it. I've always taken great pride in doing a destination very well. And so, if we develop a destination for the company, we put a lot of resources, time, money, investments into it, and we ensure that we develop it very well. So we have found success with these 12 destinations, and that will primarily be our focus for Alluring Americas for years to come. So if you have never been to South America or Central America, you need to go. That's all I can tell you. You have to go. Latin America is no longer the destination that it used to be, where you could travel on $40 a day backpacking. It has become sophisticated. It's very diverse. You have amazing scenery, great adventure options, fantastic cuisine, colonial architecture in various cities. There is just a lot to offer to you and to your clients. And sometimes you can create an analogy between other destinations in Europe and Latin America. For example, if you have clients who enjoy traveling to Italy or France, they would enjoy Argentina because the architecture, even the people, even the cuisine is very similar. If you have clients that enjoy the outdoor nature that you find perhaps in Africa, with the wildlife safaris, then they would indeed enjoy the Galapagos Islands. If you have clients who love the Caribbean for its beaches, then you would have great pride in offering Belize as a destination. Belize is known for its Caribbean beaches, but Belize goes beyond that. You've also got the Mayan ruins and adventure options in the interior of the country. If you have clients who enjoy an Alaskan cruise, for example, in the Inside Passages, then they would love the Patagonia region of Chile and Argentina. You have fantastic topography of craggy mountain peaks, glaciers, hiking trails, kayaking, in pristine Lake District scenery and so forth. So you will always find something, that's synonymous with another destination. Egypt is known for its archaeological ruins and pyramids, and likewise you'll find that in Peru with Machu Picchu. Okay, so what we have done is, even though we do not have preset itineraries, we do define our itineraries by various themes, and this is how we identify the type of client that you have. So, it's easy for you to tell us that your client is super high-end and wants to do a custom design trip. We still want to know which high-end do they fall into. Do they fall into the luxuriously unusual or perhaps the signature luxury? So, our itinerary themes, our itineraries all have different styles and themes. And for example, the luxuriously unusual itinerary will tend to have insider access experiences, bespoke journeys, some gourmet regional cuisine. Often budget is not an issue for the traveler. They just want that experience. Then you get those who enjoy expedition cruising, perhaps in Patagonia, the Amazon, or Galapagos Islands. So we will have itineraries that fit that profile. We've also got families. We are very well known for family travel. And some of our best family destinations include Costa Rica, Chile, Peru, Argentina, and Ecuador and Galapagos Islands. And we have come up with some amazing family trips which zero in on the interests of the kids first, because we have found that if we engage the kids, if we pique their interest, then their parents will automatically be interested. Today more and more travelers don't just want 5-star luxury throughout. They want to get out there, be in the outdoors, have an active adventure experience. They want to be in some amazing natural scenery, National Geographic worthy destinations. So we have itineraries for that as well, ranging from hiking in Patagonia or in Peru's Andean highlands to even kayaking and biking in the Lake District scenery of Argentina, for example, or tracking jaguars in the Pantanal of Brazil. So we do have very unique destinations and offerings for that. Honeymoons and romance are a great theme for us as well. We have some fabulous destinations like Cartagena in Colombia, Costa Rica as well, Brazil, which are fabulous honeymoon destinations. And of course, for honeymooners, it's not just about sitting at an amazing hotel with incredible views. It's also being engaged with the destination, doing activities that are well suited for the couples. We have clients that have culinary interests, and with Chile and Argentina being prime wine growing destinations, we are able to offer fabulous wine themed tours, visiting wineries, some which are known and some which are hidden and off the beaten path. Of course, for history and culture, you've got destinations like Guatemala, like Peru as well, and nature and wildlife, as I mentioned earlier, you have Galapagos Islands and even Patagonia or the Pantanal in Brazil. So what will help us is if you always find out what the interest is for your clients. Not just to say, oh, we have clients who want to go to Argentina, maybe a little bit more. Okay, I'm sure they've done their research, as most clients have. Just ask them, okay, what do you want to do in Argentina? What are some of your interests? Is it history? Is it culture? Is it nature? Et cetera, et cetera. Then we can put together an appropriate program for them. Okay. As I mentioned at the start of the presentation, we are a luxury travel company. So our choice of accommodations tends to lean luxury. By luxury, we don't necessarily mean 5-star throughout. We look for iconic hotels, hotels that stand out. That are, quite the gem of a hotel, for example, a destination. And we've categorized them under 4 different styles: a boutique hotel, or a contemporary style, a traditional style, or an eco in nature. Some of these hotels will be 4-star quality, but we just think they're exceptional for their location, for their service. They complement the destination very well. And we'll offer it to you. Some of you are Signature or American Express or Virtuoso preferred, and not always are the preferred hotels in your consortia the ideal ones for your client. And we'll point that out to you. We'll say, okay, if you're going to go to Patagonia, for example, and I won't name any hotels at this stage, but if you're going to Patagonia, you might say, well, so-and-so hotel is a part of Virtuoso. Well, it could be, but it may not be the appropriate choice for your clients. It's not about giving revenue to the hotel. It's more about matching the hotel to the client interest. The client is the one who's paying for the trip. They are the ones who have to be kept happy. And we are always being told by our clients when they return back that, we hit the nail on the head with their trip right from the get-go. We understood their needs very well, and we complemented their trip with the perfect accommodation. In our expedition vessel destinations, which are primarily the Amazon, Galapagos Islands, and Patagonia, we have beautiful vessels now that your clients can go out there and experience destination with. These are deluxe vessels. They're not Silver Star quality. They're not Crystal Cruise quality vessels. They're expedition, they're small ship experiences, and in the Amazon, we recently released a blog piece on our website about the 5 best Amazon cruise vessels in Peru, and they're quite luxurious. I encourage you to go to our website and check out the blog piece there. Galapagos Islands, we have vessels ranging from 12 passengers all the way up to 100 passengers. We've picked the very best vessels in the islands, which are renowned for their leadership by the expedition guides, their itineraries, the comfort factor, and the overall level of service. So, we have many destinations between, many vessels between the 12 to 20 passenger range, and some in the smaller, in the mid-size category, which range from 32 to 48, and then some in the larger, which range from 90 to 100 passengers. And in Patagonia, we are currently working with with 2 vessels there, the Stella Australis and the Ventus Australis, which travel the Insight Passage and the ice fields and channels between Ushuaia, which is deep down south in Argentina, to Punta Arenas, which is deep south in Chile. So they have a similar route to the Alaskan Insight Passages. And these vessels also have great cuisine as well. It's not going to be 5-star Michelin cuisine, but trust me, your clients will always be happy with the product overall. So obviously, if you're successful, we're going to be successful. We support the travel agent community. Our business since the inception of our company, since the time I was at my former company, has always been to work with the travel agents first. We're not really set up here to handle a direct client. There are companies out there that have shifted towards working with direct consumers, which is fine. We can assist if needed, but for the most part, we prefer the inquiries to come through a travel agency. We don't have the manpower to handle loads and loads of inquiries from direct consumers. So how do we assist you, the travel agent, in making sure that you're successful? Number one is the qualifying of requests. That is the most important factor. We need for you to help us. We need for you to qualify the clients for us. We've had many inquiries sometimes come in that clients want to do like a 2-week trip in South America, in Argentina, for example, and they want to go to the top hotels everywhere. They want to have the best experiences. but their budget is just insanely low. You know, often it's champagne tastes and beer budget, as I call it. So the fact that that we even received that request, we feel that we could have done better by assisting you. So we have a link on our website, as mentioned, as you see on the screen. Encourage your clients to just fill it out. We don't capture any of their data for any marketing purposes here. It's just more for our needs to understand their needs better. So qualify them, ask them the questions there. Don't be afraid to ask their budget. I know many of you don't want to ask for a budget. Just ask it. Give a price range. That helps us a lot. Conference calls. When you have a client that has many questions, no need for you to just email us those questions and we email you back and then you email us another round of questions. Just pick up the phone, just say, hey, can we just set up a conference call? Let us talk with your clients directly. We are your partners at the end of the day. So feel confident to say, hey, let me get our Latin America travel supplier partner on the phone. Let's talk to the horse directly and let's just ask them the questions. And sometimes you'll be surprised. We can zero in on their interests and narrow down their options very quickly for you and make it quite smooth process for you. When we present an itinerary, we send it on a link, which goes to a digital platform where they can see a visually beautiful, appealing itinerary. It entices them to pretty much book once they see that. For the most part, our trips, we quote to you inclusive of commission that range anywhere from 10 to 12%. The majority of our trips are at 12%. We have received requests from agents who want higher commissions, 13 to 15%, and that is fine. We can adjust our tour pricing accordingly to include that. Just keep in mind, though, that these are custom design trips, so you don't want to be in a situation where we've given you a price because you asked for it at 15%, and then your client says it's too expensive. Most clients can go on the internet and shop around things there. So don't look at the commission factor. Look at more as to what is the recommended selling price, and more than often it's 12%. The price that affords you 12%. As I mentioned at the start of the presentation, you have a dedicated destination specialist from start to end. We also process our payments online through a secure website. You can complete the form for your clients if you want to, or the clients can complete it. No need to fill out PDF forms and so forth. And we can also train your agency groups internally through webinars. If you're doing a client event, for example, we can certainly support you with some co-branded collateral as well. Okay. So with that said, basically we invite you to connect with us. We have our two websites, AlluringAmericas.com, which is very informative, and AlluringGalapagos.com, where you can find everything that we offer in the Galapagos, vessels and hotels wise. We also encourage you to follow us on the social network there, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We do post daily. We have good information there, everything from experiences to hotels to promotions. We're very active with Instagram and Facebook at the moment, so I do encourage you to follow us on that. Okay, we want you to try us out if you've never done so. So for this year, we are running an incentive for those who have joined us on this webinar. For every new booking here on, for every $10,000 of land revenue that you book with us, we will give you a $50 Amazon gift card. It will be an e-gift card that would be emailed to you once the final payment for the client has been made and the client is already in the non-refundable status. Okay, so these are our contact information. Best way to reach us is obviously by email or by phone. And with that, that comes to the end of our webinar. I want to thank you all for listening in. I hope it has been informative, and I will now open the floor to questions.
Raj, we have had a few questions come up that came through the webinar chat, so I'm just going to read off these questions so that you can address them for everybody. Carrie has a few questions. Her first one is, do we have a specialty program for travel agents?
We do not have a specialty program for travel agents. I know exactly what you mean by that. We have found that it's just better for us to train agencies individually. We can come into your offices and do a presentation and train you, or we can do a webinar for you. But no, we don't have one. We certainly should look into one, though, I think, Megan. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's something we can definitely talk about and put on the table for the future, but yeah, we don't currently offer them.
Yeah.
Her next question is, do we own the vessels that we work with, or are they from cruise lines?
No, we don't own the vessels. No tour operator in the USA owns any vessels in the Galapagos. Even Lindblad, for example, who has 2 vessels in the Galapagos, they don't own the vessels. The vessels have to be owned by the country that they're in. So in Ecuador, for example, it's Ecuadorians who own the vessel and then just license the vessel to them. So no, we don't own the vessels, but we do have strong commercial agreements with them, you know, for special net rates to us.
Okay. Her next question is, do we have a co-branded website for these agents and all of our agents to use?
The Alluring Galapagos website does not have any contact information to the best of my knowledge, so that is a non-branded website. We don't have a co-branded website, but when we do send out our itineraries, our digital itineraries, we co-brand that with the agency logo and agency contact. So the only person they can contact off the itinerary is the travel agent, not us.
And be clear, when Raj says itineraries, he's talking about the travel documents that we provide to you for your client's trip.
Well, that too, but I'm talking about the proposal itineraries. When we create an itinerary from the get-go and we send you a link to our digital platform, you'll always see your agency logo, your name, and your contact.
Okay. Pat brought up a question that I can answer real quick. She asked, is it possible to get a copy of this presentation? Absolutely. Whoever wants a copy, just let me know and I can certainly get you one.
Okay, and I see a question from Stephanie Warrington about FAM trips. We are going to start looking into FAM trips. At the moment, what we've found is travel agents, they just tend to reach out to us and they say they're traveling to so-and-so destination, if we can help them out with travel arrangements, and we go out of our way to get deeply discounted rates or even complimentary services, you know, here and there. We inform our suppliers of your production, of how important you are to us, and then we negotiate the best rates for you. So it's more like a custom FAM rather than a preset FAM.
Stephanie also brought up some other questions last week that I think are important to bring up. She asked, do we have a minimum amount, dollar amount, or product for an FIT?
Yeah, I mean, we found that given the amount of time we spend on an itinerary and making the arrangements, it's not set in stone, but we would suggest that, you know, we would be your ideal company if you have a $1,500 minimum land rate, land booked land services for a couple, for 2 people or more, $1,000 for 1 person. You know, I think it's really not worth our while when it's less than $1,000. I mean, we'll do it if we know you very well, if we work with you, but it's really not, it just takes up too much of our time, if I can be very honest. The other thing I also want to mention is, you know, we are specialists for Latin America and it's luxury travel. So there are some things that we're not going to be good at. For example, if you have clients who want to spend 7 nights at a beach resort in Brazil or in Costa Rica, that's not us. You know, you're better off to go to a company that does that. We're not volume producers for these beach resorts, and so our rates would not be competitive for that. We also we also try not to just book hotels only. Well, we definitely don't book hotels only, and we try to make sure that all of our trips have some touring in there. You know, we often get client requests saying, hey, I just need a hotel in transfers and I'll wing it with the concierge of the hotel for the tours. That's not us again. You know, we are a tour operator by definition, so we do need to have some tours included with us.
Carrie just brought up another question. She's asking, do we help in dietary needs, and do we arrange visas and tourist cards for our clients?
Yes, we, as long as you inform us of all dietary restrictions in advance, preferably no later than 30 days out, we certainly notify our suppliers. If you have specific situations, maybe somebody requires gluten-free or is kosher, just let us know well in advance for that, because some destinations we have to go a little bit extra to ensure that they are kosher friendly. When a destination is not able to serve a kosher meal, then we will certainly let you know. As far as the visas and tourist cards for clients, the only destination of ours that needs a visa is Brazil for US citizens, and now you can actually get the visas online. You don't need to go to the consulate, the old-fashioned way. So they offer e-visas. It's a lot cheaper. It's only $40 per person versus $160 if you went through a consulate. And if you go to the website for the consulate, it has the link for the e-visas. It gets processed within 3 to 4 business days, so it's really simple. Tourist cards are issued upon arrival at the destination, so I mean, there's not much to that. The airline gives you the card sometimes in flight, and it's just a lot easier now for the most part to travel. There's no more reciprocity fees, if that's what you're asking, for countries like Argentina and Chile. There used to be reciprocity fees before, but no longer do those countries have reciprocity fees.
Okay, great. Stephanie had brought up a couple other questions last week as well that we can answer really quick. She asked, are you planning to join Virtuoso in the future?
We have always applied to Virtuoso year in, year out. For those who are involved with the Virtuoso management, I don't know if you are or not, but it's a process. They don't just take anybody. So we apply for it, and when they have a need for a new supplier, they will certainly consider us. That's what we've been told over and over again. They did reach out to us this year, which was a surprise. And normally we reach to them, but this time they reached out to us. So we are putting in our application. Maybe they need a supplier, maybe they don't. I'm not so sure.
Carrie has another question. She asked if we're coming to Denver for the Travel and Adventure Show.
I'm not familiar with that show. We used to attend a lot of the travel shows before, but as I mentioned, we don't really do consumer direct. We find many of these shows tend to be for consumers. We prefer to participate in shows that are more agent-centric, focus on agents where we can have appointments with agents as well. With consumer shows, it's just price. You're pretty much at that point just giving out packages and people are choosing on prices. But that said, I have been personally invited to many of these consumer shows as a panelist or as a speaker. New York Times show is a perfect example. So we do participate in shows like that. But I'm not familiar with the Denver one. I'll certainly take a look at it.
Great. Does anyone have any other questions before we start wrapping up? Great. Thank you, Carrie. We appreciate that.
That'd be great if you can send us the information.
Okay, perfect. Stephanie had one other question that I think is good to address. She asked if we offer international air wholesale.
Yes, we do. We have bulk rates with American Airlines and LATAM Airlines for both business class and economy class. And so we can certainly quote that to you with our packages. We always quote it separately. So yeah, absolutely, we can offer it.
Great. It doesn't look like anyone else has any other questions. If anyone does have any other questions, throw them in the chat really quick and we can answer them.
Okay, wonderful. Well, that said, everyone, thank you again for listening in and appreciate you taking the time. And we will be having our next webinar next month, which will be focused on the Galapagos Islands. And I hope you can join us then. Okay, thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Carrie, Pat, I'll send you guys a copy of the presentation to your email. Thanks, guys. See you later. Have a good day.